Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be teaching you how to make this two-piece set pants with crop top and palazzo with side pockets. If this is what you want to learn, please stay tuned. Let's get started. So I got this fabric. This fabric is like silk or chiffon kind of fabric. So I got 3 yards of this fabric for this tutorial. The material is so soft and it's just very hard to cut. I will not even lie. So let's get straight to the tutorial. I also grabbed my ruler, my French curve and my tape rule. So on the table I already marked my top line, I marked my crotch line and my hip line. So just go ahead to measure my hip measurement divided by 4. Mine is 11 inches. I had extra 4 inches for the elastic waist band. The 4 inches extra is just going to make it fuller. So I also marked my thigh divided by 2 plus 4 inches as well. So I'm going to mark that, and I'm going to mark whatever measurement I got from the hip. I'm going to mark it on my waistline right there. So after marking it, I'm going to also add 4 inches, and I'm going to rule a straight line from the waist to the hip. So after ruling a straight line, I'm going to curve it from the hip to the crotch. You can also mark 1 inch upward from that angle and then just curve it to the crotch like I'm doing. Just watch what I'm doing, guys. So if you also get the extension there, like if you did not measure yourself, you can just divide your hip divided by 4. You can divide your hip divided by 4, and whatever it gets, you divide it by 4 again. Like if your hip is 40, divided by 4, 10, divided by 4 again, 2.5. That will be your crotch extension. So I'm just going to rule whatever I have there downward. So I'm going to rule it down. So I just measured what I had there. I'm going to measure it all down to the end of the trouser length. So I'm just marking it to get an even line. So I'm ruling it down to the length of the trouser. And then I'm going to cut it. I'm going to go ahead to cut it. I added sewing allowance at 0.5 on the waistline, and I had to pin this fabric down because the fabric is just moving everywhere. If it was just a plain cotton fabric, you don't need to pin it down, but this one I had to pin it down because it was just moving everywhere. So I've cut the crotch part and I'm cutting it down. So remember, the sides is on fold. Remember, the side is still on fold. So I'm just going to open the fold, just like you see me doing right here. So I'm going to open up the fold like so. I'm going to open up the fold. So we are done for the front. Now let's move to the back. So I just played the front on the back, and I went up on the waist area. I went up by 1.5 inches, and I'm going to rule it. I'm going to measure what I have on the waist, and I'm going to connect it slanted just like that because of the bum area, so that the bum can sit properly at the back. So I'm just going to come out by 1.5 inches. This represents the allowance for the front and the back. So the 1 inch will be for the side, and the 1/2 inch will be for the center. That's the crotch area. So I also extended the crotch for the back. I started with 2.7 That is my own crotch extension. And I also I marked 1 inch down at the side. That's at the center. I marked 1 inch down from the crotch extension that I just extended at the back. I roll it down just like that, and then I'm going to cut it. So the difference between this front and back is just the upper part that I added 1.5 inches, and then the side is the same. The crotch extension to added 2.7 inches. So I'm going to cut the back as well. So after cutting the back, I'm just going to unpin it. I'm going to join the crotch area front facing front, like the front of the fabric facing the front of the fabric. I'm just going to grab the back and I'm going to join it by 0.5. I'm going to also grab the front and I'll join it by 0.5 as well. That's the crotch area, and I'll come back to show you. So before that, I went ahead to cut the pocket because this trouser is going to have the side pocket, the inside side pocket. So just place your hand like this. So I mark 7 inches. I like to use 7 inches. I mark 7 inches, and then I just bend my hand just towards the 7 inches. You see, just the way I'm doing. I just give it a good curve like that, following your hand, your palm, and then you're just going to cut it out. It's as simple as that, guys. So I'm just going to cut another of this pocket because of course we're adding it to the two sides of the trouser. So after cutting it, I've gone ahead to join the front crotch and the back crotch. Remember that this trouser is not going to be having a zipper. We are working with elastic waistband here. So I'll just go ahead to join the side seam. But before then, I will go ahead to pin down the pocket on the 4 sides of the trouser. Just watch me and watch what I'm doing. So I just grab one side of the trouser and I place the pocket. You see this place that went up on the pocket, that angle right there, that is where we'll be at the top of the trouser. So you see, so I just placed it front facing front. I'll mark 3 inches down. You can also mark 2 inches. So but I use 3 inches. I mark 3 inches on the 4 sides of the trouser. That's the waist part. So you come down by 3 inches, mark it on all the sides, and then pin your pocket down. So after pinning it down, you go ahead to join the pocket by 0.5 inches. I like to work with pin, coupled with the fact that this fabric is not just straight, it's just going everywhere. So I have to pin it down. So then I went ahead to sew it by 0.5. So I did it for the front and the back, and then just mark something to differentiate the front and back so that you won't make any mistake when you want to wear it. Don't worry, we're going to put rope at the front of the trouser just to differentiate the front and the back, because this is not going to be having a zipper. So after pinning all the pockets on the four parts of the side of the trouser, so I'm just going to sew it by 0.5. After sewing, I'll flip and top stitch. You sew 0.5, flip and top stitch. I'll come back and show you. So I've gone ahead to sew the pockets, and I've also top stitched it. So you see how it is looking. This fabric is not really giving justice to this job, but trust me, just watch whatever I am doing and just follow the steps. It's as simple as that. So I'm just pinning the pockets for the front and back together, because I'm about to sew the sides with 1 inch. So I'm just going to pin the other side of the pocket as well. So I think the mistake I did was this fabric. The fabric was not the best choice for this style. So if you want to make it, you can just use maybe adire or something that has like a pocket. Something that has like cotton. Something that has cotton, so you can use it. I think that way to be fuller, and then it will just be easy to work with. So I'll go ahead to join it and come back to show you what I have. And I'll also join the crotch area with 0.5 inches. So after joining it, this is what I have. I'm going to have to join the side, and I've joined the pocket. You can see the pocket, and I've also joined the hem with 0.5 with 1 inch. So I folded the 0.5, that is 1 inch. So after joining everything, I've given it a good press, and then I just went ahead to cut a band for the trouser. Remember that this trouser will not have a zipper, so I just went ahead to cut a band of 2.5 inches. So I'll go and join it. I pinned it down because with this fabric I really need to pin it down. And then I didn't like fold it 0.5 inside like the normal band. You see, it is just open because I just want to sew it straight like that. I don't want to like fold it 0.5. This is going to be having elastic. I'm just going to overlock the rough edges. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say, guys. So but like if you look at what I'm doing, where I did not start from the beginning of the waistband, so I left like 1 inch because I want to join the other end of the band together, if you understand what I'm saying. So I'm just going to start pinning it. Well, I left like 2 inches just to join the other edge, so I'm just pinning it down all through. So make sure that you are pinning it down. I'm just going to do this for all the waist or the trouser. So you can see what I'm trying to say. I'll just go ahead and sew that side, but I sew it from inside. I did not just sew it outside. I opened it up. This is me cutting the excesses because we just need 0.5 inches to sew the two of them together. So this is me just cutting the excesses on the two ends, and I went ahead to join it together with 0.5 inches. So after joining, this is the elastic that I could find for this kind of trouser. I think you need that 2 inches elastic, 1.5 inches elastic. So this is the one I have here. So I'm just thinking I should just sew over it, just to give me that 2 inches elastic that I want to use. So let's just see what it looks like. So I've gone ahead to join it, guys, and it's really nice. So the measurement I use is my hip, right? I know I'm still going to cut it, but like I cut my hip measurement because we use our hip measurement for our waist measurement, right? If you remember. So I'm just going to grab my safety pin and I'm just going to start putting it inside the waistband, just like you see me doing. So you just keep putting it all through, and then you keep checking the measurements until you've gotten what you want for the waist, and then you can cut the excess. So you just keep putting it inside. When you are sewing this elastic, when you are sewing over, please do not sew with tight stitch. Sew with loose stitch so that it will not shrink, like reduce the length of the elastic. So just sew with your gather stitch or your loose stitch. So you just keep putting the elastic into the waistband until it has totally entered. So you can just secure the pin so that you will not lose where the elastic is, because you see what I will do now. I'm going to join the elastic together, but before then, just cross check the measurements of the waist, so you'll be sure that the elastic is not too big or too small for the waist of the trouser. So I think it has all entered. So after you confirm, just cross-check your waist measurement to make sure that that is the exact waist you want to that is the exact waist you are working on. So I checked and I saw that it was a bit bigger than what I wanted. So my waist was 40 and then I was saying 43 or thereabouts. So I just want, my waist is 33. So I checked and I just cut out the excess. So this is me on the sewing machine. I just want to close out that open space I will left for the elastic. After closing it all up, I'll go ahead to sew on the elastic so that it will just give us this very beautiful and stretchy elastic effect. You understand? Then it will help your elastic not to move around. The elastic is not just going to roll over or turn over on your waist. So you see, so just make sure that you see differentiate the front and the back, because we're going to put like a tiny rope at the front of the trouser so that you will know when you're putting it on. So I'm just going to sew over it with 0.5. I'm going to sew like 2 stitches. Just keep sewing with loose stitch, please, because you are sewing elastic and you want it to really stretch, right? So just keep stretching it and keep sewing with your loose stitch. So I went ahead to sew another one, right? I went ahead to sew another 0.5 inches on the waist of the trouser. So I went ahead to sew another. So just half inch closer to the other one. So I was done stitching it here, and then remember that I still marked chalk to differentiate the front and the back. You see the way the waist is looking very beautiful. You see the way it is looking really nice. So just go ahead to overlock all the rough edges of this trouser. So remember I marked something to differentiate the front. I'm going to make a tiny rope, and I'm just going to stitch it on the middle just to differentiate the front and back, and it just gave it this very beautiful design at the front, guys. Please don't forget to share this video, like and subscribe. This will really help me to, it will encourage me to do more video. And if this video was really helpful, guys, please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much. So at this point, I'm done with this trouser. You can see how the waist, everything is looking very beautiful. And I paired it with a crop top. I will drop the tutorial right after this trouser. Thank you for watching, guys. Bye.